All right, let's talk about one of the most common and, let's be honest, one of the most confusing words you'll ever see in your assignments: evaluate. We're going to crack the code on this one so you know exactly what your lecturer is looking for. You know the feeling, right? You've got all your research done, you know the topic inside and out, but then you see that one word, evaluate, and your brain just freezes. What do they actually want from me? Well, you are definitely not alone, and by the end of this, you're going to have a super clear roadmap. Okay, here is the absolute biggest mental shift you need to make. When you're asked to evaluate, you're not just a reporter listing off facts. No, no. You're being asked to be the judge. You're the expert who weighs all the evidence and then delivers a final verdict. So let's get right into it. What does being the judge actually mean in your HND hospitality assignments? Well, for starters, it's a huge step up from just describing something. So let's break down the official definition. It's about making a judgment, a call, on how effective or sustainable something is. But the real key, the part that gets you the top marks, is that last bit. It has to be backed up with reasons and real-world examples from the industry. This slide right here just nails the difference. See, describing is all about the what. It's just stating the facts. But evaluating, that's about the how good. How good is it? And this is the most important part, why. That why is where you really start to shine. Is it all starting to click? Awesome. Now let's make this super practical. I'm going to give you a simple 4-step recipe that you can use every single time you see the word evaluate. Think of it as your clear path to a fantastic grade. And here it is, your 4-step recipe for success. First, you briefly describe the topic. Then you analyze it, the pros and the cons. After that, you make your expert judgment. And finally, you support that judgment with solid proof. Let's just zoom in on a couple of those steps. Step 2, analyze, is all about seeing the whole picture. You have to look at both sides of the coin. What are the amazing benefits, but also what are the drawbacks, the problems, the limitations? A really top-tier evaluation is never ever one-sided. And then for step 4, support, well, this is where you bring the receipts. You can't just say something is great, you've got to prove it. Use real examples from hotels and restaurants you've studied. Talk about actual data, things like cost savings, waste reduction numbers, maybe even customer satisfaction scores. This stuff makes your argument rock solid. Okay, enough theory. The best way to really get this is to see it in action. So let's walk through a pretty typical HND assignment question from the hotel world. So here's our question. Evaluate the use of energy-efficient lighting in hotels. Simple, to the point, and a perfect way to test out our 4-step recipe. So, how would we actually tackle this? Now just watch how our recipe builds the perfect answer, piece by piece. First, you describe, energy-efficient lighting reduces electricity consumption. Done. Next, you analyze both sides. The benefit? It lowers carbon emissions. The limitation? However, installation costs can be high. See that balance? That thinking then leads you to your final judgment, which is supported by your logic. Overall, it is an effective practice because the long-term benefits outweigh the initial cost. Boom! That last sentence is your evaluation. It's your verdict, and you've completely justified it. So there you have it, a clear, repeatable process for crushing any evaluation question. Now, let's just boil this whole thing down to a simple, powerful formula that you can remember. This is it. If you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this equation. Evaluate equals describe plus analyze plus judge plus justify. It's pretty much your entire essay structure right there in one line. But you know what? We can actually make it even more direct, something you can easily call up in your head, even in the middle of a stressful exam. This is the absolute core of it, boiled right down for your HND. Just ask yourself these 3 things. 1, how good is it? That's your judgment. 2, why do I think that? That's your analysis. And 3, where's my proof? That's where you drop in those specific hospitality examples. You do those 3 things, you've successfully evaluated. It's that simple. So the next time you see that word pop up in an assignment, you're not going to panic. You're going to know exactly what to do. You've got the tools, you've got the formula. You're not just a student anymore. You're the judge. So the only question left is, what's the first thing you're going to evaluate?